Hi guys, thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the Alpha Elite podcast. So today, I want to talk about something a little bit controversial, something that's really bothering me at the moment, and it's with regards to us transitioning into a cashless society. It has its good and its bad points. And obviously the good points are things like the convenience. Most people now are using their iPhone, Apple Pay, they have the debit card on, they're just scanning stuff in and this, that and the other. But cash is being slowly integrated out of our society. And my personal opinion is that's actually quite a bad thing because it's all to do with control. So, for example, you look at what's going on in society at the moment. So we're heavy on cryptocurrency. The UK is launching its own kind of digital pound. Your banking now, you probably do it online, so you're never actually physically seeing any money. You're paying your bills. You're just moving numbers around. You've got your credit cards, your debit cards, your Apple Pay. A lot of places don't even accept cash anymore. They don't want to accept cash. I saw an article, what triggered it off was I saw an article the other day, and it was one of the major high street banks has decided to close 148 branches across the UK. So to me, that's saying they don't want cash. Now, have you actually been into the bank in the last few months and tried to put cash in?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you've just popped a steaming turd on the counter, is the only way to describe it. And then they give you the third degree. Where's this money come from?
Yeah.
Like, my understanding of the banking is that you need my money to be in there because that's what you use to make money, to invest and make money. And obviously my money is then there to come in. So why is it becoming so difficult to put cash into the bank? As a business owner, again, what a lot of people don't realise is every time you pay for something with your credit or debit card, we lose money because we get hit with charges for providing an electronic service. So if you buy something that's £10, we don't get £10. We'll get like £9.20. We'll lose 80p for nothing. The product isn't any less value. The service you received isn't any less value. We've just lost 80p because you decided to pay electronically. Whereas if you'd got money out of a cash point and handed a £10 note over, I keep that whole £10 note. So it's something that really bothers me, and I think it's like a lot to do with control. Like, I feel that if they remove cash from society, then they can control what you do in terms of if you were arrested on suspicion of a crime, for example, they can withhold your money. This is what they're trying to do to give you control. And the government has already proved, in my opinion, proved that the general public can be controlled by propaganda. COVID is a prime example of control. It was a control exercise. I'm not saying that it didn't exist, but my opinion of it is that it was no worse than a bad case of the flu. But the way that it was depicted in social media and on the news was that we were going to have bodies piled up in the street, and it was manipulated in a way that the general public locked themselves away for nearly 2 years. Locked themselves away. There was no scientific evidence put out there. There was no actual footage. There was no bodies piling up in the street. Yes, people got poorly from it. Yes, people died from it. But a lot of these people already had underlying health issues. Health issues that they didn't even know about, that this kind of triggered it. But it would be the same as if they got the flu. It was no different. But it proved that the government could control everybody. Social media played a massive part in it because people weren't able to go out. So they were feeding you the information that they wanted you to see via social media platforms. They were creating a fear. So everyone was hidden away, no control. And if they can do that over the flu, then what kind of control are you going to give them if you remove your money? If they take away your money from you? I mean, what do you guys think of it?
Come on, Bryn.
Yeah. So I think straight away there's definitely fors and against, definitely pros and cons. I was saying before actually to a guy that I respect his opinion really, a guy called Tate. Now he's very against it because he runs a small business. And basically he's saying, you know, for his custom, it'll absolutely crucify him, you know. A lot of the stuff now that he does, you know, he sells and stuff, it usually is through cash. You know, the generations that he sort of serves, potentially older generations, you know, these are people that still go into post offices,
Pay bills and
checkbooks, yeah, they're paying bills by, you know, what they call them little key fob things.
Oh yeah.
Can you top up my gas and electric?
Yeah.
I'll just put £20 on that, please. That'll last me the week. I think the world's moving so fast at the moment, you know, that these sort of people are forgetting. They're getting forgotten about. The world's moving past them, and I think a lot of people are just accepting change faster than needs to be. You know, it needs to be thought through. People's lifestyles need to be taken into consideration before a lot of these things are pushed through. And I just think people are way too accepting of change, especially you know, for example, like cash. You know, it's nice to have a little bit of cash on you because, you know, potentially, I'm not saying you're going to do anything dodgy, but, you know, it's nice to be able to just pay for something and have no trace on you. You know, Barclays don't know what I bought today. Well, I don't want Barclays to know that. I mean, not to go a little bit dirty, but I don't want Barclays to know that I bought a butt plug today. Do you know what I mean? I don't. You know,
Just another one to his collection.
Oh, another one.
Many.
I don't want Barclays to know that it's my son's birthday today because I've just spent £200 on this and that. And I just think people's, you know, they say that you know, data policies and all this crap, you know, it's data protection this and data protection that. But the fact is, all this data is being stored somewhere. You know, people's information doesn't all need to be stored somewhere. Potentially, you know, people should have freedom to do whatever they choose to do, as long as it's not illegal. And we're not going to go into that, you know, what is illegal and what's not, because that's bullshit as well. But I just think at the moment the government have got way too much control over people's movements and people's freedoms, and you know, other than to protect people, as it were. I just think that, you know, it needs to be thought through and it needs to be planned, and people's lifestyles needs to be taken into account before, you know, cash as itself is eradicated out of society. That's what I think.
I don't think it's a good thing. I just don't think it is. I think people that have small businesses that rely on cash flow, like, even, I don't know, like we sold stuff off Facebook Marketplace today.
Yeah.
And it's like a good bit of cash that like it's going to go into a bank and potentially go on as earnings potentially. Do you know what I mean? As earnings, and it's like everyone does little odd jobs or whatever. Like if you have a trade, or our old cameraman here, do you know what I mean? Like if you've got a main job and you've just got a little side hustle, so fucking what? Like, but those are the things that are going to get stopped. Like I can see benefits, but there's very few benefits to a cashless society other than governmental control and knowing your every move and your every spending and be able to freeze your life essentially.
Yeah,
because if you haven't got money,
you can't do anything.
No disrespect, you can't do anything. No. Like, because in today's society, you need money to do stuff. Like, if you've got more money, then you're going to be doing more things than the person who's got less money. I don't think it'll be good. I think there'll be a lot of people that will fight against it, but then what will that do? Like, the government tends to just do stuff anyway, regardless of what the people think. Like, we've got a non-elected prime minister at the moment, and the last one wasn't elected either. So, I don't know. I don't think it'll be good, but do I think we'll have any control of it? Probably not. Probably not.
It's another thing. It's like it used to be. So you'd buy stuff in cash and you'd get a discount. So you go to buy a car and it'd be, oh, that car's 15
Cash,
grand,
yeah.
no problem. What? How much for cash?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll knock you 500 quid off. Right, that doesn't happen anymore. No one wants cash. Oh, you try and go and try and buy a car with cash.
They laugh at you.
They don't want it.
Most places, 8 grand now, I think it is.
Yeah.
8 grand, and then it's money laundering.
Yeah.
8 grand off one person over a 12-month period. It's the maximum you can have of someone.
Exactly. Now, like everybody knows, like again, COVID was another example of control. So everybody knows that small business owners, tradesmen, and this, that, and the other, they are going to do the odd job, cash in hand, and it's probably not going to go through their books. Probably not. The majority of it is going to, because they have a life. They need to get a mortgage. They need to have finance, this, that, and the other. So the majority of their earnings is going to be accounted for. But there's a small percentage which they won't account for. 100 quid here, 50 quid here. Do you know what I mean? And they know that goes on. There are some people that are honest, and there are some people out there that will do the bare minimum. They will put the bare minimum through their accounts and they'll build up cash, and that's how they'll do it. So when we went into lockdown COVID, the government knows this goes on, but because it's cash, they can't control it. So what did they do to teach these people a lesson? They said, okay, well, we'll give you money, but it's based on your last 3 years' accounts. So all these people that have gone again, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. We know that you're earning more than £712 a month. We know that you're doing that because you drive around in a brand new BMW or whatever and you're going on holiday to Monaco. But we can't do anything because it's cash. So what they did is they went, big fuck you. We'll give you money, but we're only going to do what you've accounted for. That'll teach you. So then they're forcing people that they shouldn't really be doing it anyway, but it does happen, and they're playing the system to their advantage. So they force their hand. They force them to become more legitimate than what they were before, because they know what's going on. Now, how do we know that that's not going to happen again? Because they want control. And if everything's electronic, they know exactly how much you're earning, what you're spending, where you're going, who you're spending it to, who you're transferring your money to, what jobs you're doing. So everything is about control. It's all to do with tax.
I would like to think that after a lot of the revelations that have come out since COVID, the untruths, we don't need to have a COVID discussion, but I think we all know all the untruths that have come out, all the actual facts that have come out surrounding it, and all the bad things surrounding it. I think people should think twice about control. And like, if something smells like bullshit and it seems a bit weird, then maybe it is a bit fucking bullshitty. But like, obviously, the Prime Minister was caught having parties when we were all locked up and couldn't see our nans, and do you know what I mean? So I think if something were to happen, I would hope that people wouldn't just go out and fucking bulk buy toilet roll and actually think consciously.
Use their brain and think.
And just think, is this another government control? Because funnily enough, like, I don't want to incite a fucking
peaceful riot.
We want to incite a riot.
I don't want to incite a riot or anything, but like, we are more than the government.
Yeah.
Like, if people just stood together and just was like, I'm not saying riot or break anything, just go, actually, no, we're not going to do this because this sounds like bullshit.
Yeah.
Like when they said,
give us some evidence.
Yeah, when they said close all the shops and close all the pubs, if people were just like, you know what? No, we're not going to.
Give us some evidence.
We're going to stay open because we believe this is an injustice, as opposed to we should do this. And I think if people actually just stood up and stopped being pawns, then you might see a change in attitudes.
When we went into lockdown, were the rich affected like the normal person?
No.
Were the rich still flying off all over the world?
Yeah.
Were the rich still going out and spending money?
Yeah.
Were they eating out? Yes, they were. Were politicians still having parties? Were they still buying houses? Yes. What does that tell you?
If you got enough money, then shit don't happen to you.
Exactly. The rules didn't apply to them. They just carried on as normal. Everyone else was punished. Everyone else, but not one person seemed to. If you spoke out about it, like I was quite outspoken about it, but then I was like looked down upon. I was persecuted, yeah, because I was like, I don't believe it. I'm not saying it's not out there. I don't believe it's as bad as what they say. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's that. I don't think we need to shut this. I don't think we need to do that. And like, people have lost 2 years of their lives for what's now coming out as a load of bullshit, really.
Yeah.
But the people that made these decisions, they didn't lose 2 years' life. They cashed in on it.
Yeah.
cashed in on it big time.
People lost like friendships over it. It parted families.
Yeah.
Like literally, you'd have families with completely different decisions over COVID.
Yeah.
And they would literally
Yeah,
just be
yeah.
like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you, wear your mask." And it's like, whoa.
I'm not wearing a mask.
Whoa, this we live in a free country. Like that's what I thought. We live in a free country. Chill your fucking beans.
And there's still people that are still maintaining them. My father was in hospital a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go to visit him.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm aware, we don't have to wear masks anywhere.
Hospitals, isn't it? Still.
But why? What's different between a hospital and a
But
supermarket?
as well, though, in my opinion, hospitals are probably you're more likely to catch COVID. I mean, I probably would wear a mask in the hospital, but that's just because I don't want to catch COVID. But seemingly, most people, not most people, that's not can't say that shit. But
I didn't. But so I went in, and I went to see my dad, and then I went onto the ward, and then the nurse said, "Oh, you have to wear a mask." And I went, "Oh, I have to, do I?" And she was like, "Well, we'd prefer it if you wore a mask." And I said, "Oh, thank you. I'd prefer it if I didn't." And that was the end of the conversation. Now, I wasn't rude to her. She was only doing her job.
Yeah.
She was saying, "You have to wear," and I was like, "Well, that's incorrect, isn't it?" So that's why I said it. I have to wear a mask. "Well, we'd prefer it if you wore." I said, "Okay, I understand that, but I prefer it if I didn't." I carried on as normal. I didn't have to wear my mask.
Fair enough.
But there were lots of people in there that were wearing a mask. They'd been told, "You have to wear your mask." Oh, put my mask on.
Yeah.
Well,
do you know? This is probably going to sound super cowardly, but I think sometimes my anxiety is just like I can't be asked that confrontation. So I know that's the wrong attitude I'm giving off, but like if I just can't be asked with the conversation, I'll just be like I'll just wear it and just be like okay. But
I think that's how the general public have kind of developed this. When we spoke about it on another podcast about people being afraid to have an opinion, you don't have to be rude to people to challenge what they're saying.
Yeah,
I should stand up next time. Like, no,
you don't even have to say.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, what you've said there. You don't have to be.
You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be aggressive. You can challenge someone.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they're true in what they're saying, they will give you the information you need to confirm what the information they're telling, and then you will then make an educated decision. But you don't have to do everything. If you don't think you have to do something, you don't have to. True. You're quite within your right to challenge that person.
Yeah,
and you can say, would you mind just explaining that? Why do you continue to enforce that policy?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
You're completely within your right. You don't have to be rude. I think the whole mask thing, people got very aggressive. You have to wear a mask. No, I'm not fucking wearing a mask. Okay, well, some people decided to, and some people decided not to, and you should respect everyone's opinion. That person has made a decision to wear a mask. That's fine. That's their decision. That person decided to shut themselves away. That's fine. They believe the information they've been given. But then there was other people that have decided not to. But there's nothing wrong with challenging. And this is what I think people need to do with this cashless society. There are a lot of people out there, especially like businesses, they will be affected.
Didn't you have an account shut down recently?
Yeah.
You had my partner's boss had an account shut down recently.
Because we were putting cash in.
Yeah, an account shut down.
So we were going into the post office every week and putting cash into the bank. And then because they're an online bank, they basically said, "We don't want you putting cash in, we want everything online." And I was like, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's strange, isn't it?
So I think if people would... There's a lot of people out there. Like, if the general public had their wages, said, okay, this week you're getting paid £250, but I'm going to keep £50 of that as charges, you wouldn't accept it. So why should a business have to accept it when someone goes in and buys something?
I don't know. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I genuinely think if you said to someone now, oh, it's all online, it's all tracked, it's all this, it's all that, I'm going to take away the thought process for you. Here's your job. You're going to get paid. This is what I expect of you. At the end of the month, everything's sorted. Are you okay with that? Yes. There you go. I think a good portion of society would say, well, not necessarily just straight up yes, but they go, well, yeah, I'd probably do that, yeah.
So, Bryn, your salary at the end of the month is going to get paid. minus £200 charges.
Personally, no, I'd tell you go fuck yourself. But seriously, I do think that I think it's just too easy for a lot of people, and I think that's what, you know, when you're saying about the iPhone and stuff like that. I think, you know, and Apple Pay and stuff like that. People have cashed in on these apps and, you know, they've made money, but by doing that, you know, you're taking away the business on the high street. You're taking away, you know, your generational people that are older and saying, oh, yeah, we'll go Woolworths today. Well, where's Woolworths now? It's nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, where's Littlewoods? It's nowhere. Where are these places now that people aren't going to because you can do everything online? And by that, it all comes into, you know, online stuff, your online banks, all that stuff. You know, I still don't do contactless. I still pay chip and pin. Oh, I'm one of them guys. And that's what I say. I literally say it to people, like, I pay for my fuel or stuff like that, and I pay. And they go, oh, there you go. And I go, what are you doing? I put mine in. McDonald's. I'll go to McDonald's. And not very often, guys, but I'll go to McDonald's and it's like, there you go. And I'm like, do you want to spin it round? I'm chip and pin, me, mate. That only happened 5 years ago. You know about that, right? And do you know what I mean? But people just go with the times because it's easy. Yeah. Double click, Face ID, done.
I think if people think about it, like if I owed you a tenner, so there you go, there's your tenner, but I'm keeping £1 as a handling fee, you wouldn't accept it, would you? You say, no, you owe me a tenner.
No, but how? Then again, though, it depends how you put that across to someone.
But this is what I'm saying, it's a handling fee.
Yeah, if you see it in black and white there, I'm going to take this from you for that transaction, people will go, what are you doing? But if you say to someone, oh, it's 20p, well, okay. Because it's all done online and you don't see it. And I think...
But it's what I mean, because it's happening online.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's... If it was in the physical world and said, well, I owe you a tenner, there's that tenner, but I'm going to keep £1
I think
as a handling fee. I don't think people would accept it.
If you took someone shopping, we need to wrap up, I think, but if you give someone £1,000 in cash, and you give someone £1,000 on a card, I think the person with the cash would make more conscientious decisions.
Because the person in the card is just like, oh, I'm a done.
Whereas when you've physically seen it,
I'm not going to check my bank account.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that tomorrow. You know, people do it on a night out all the time. Click, tap, click.
Yeah. And then they
I don't want to look at my bank account.
Then they wake up and they go,
but yeah,
I'm not eating for the rest of the month.
But if you go out on a night out, how many times do you wake up with shitloads of coins in your pocket?
Yeah.
So
this is true.
Yeah. So I think it's a case of, like, I think people need to really have a think about
how it would affect
how it's going to affect you and your life and your children's lives eventually, because there's potentially going to come a point where kids won't even know what pound coins and notes look like.
Online's not real life.
Yeah.
Cash is physical, real life. That's it.
Cash is king.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. Josh?
Okay. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We're available on every platform, I believe, now.
Every platform now.
YouTube, Spotify, TikTok.
Everything.
We're getting there. So yeah, like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much,
time.
guys.
Bye.